Steve Kornacki, we are going to be looking to you all night long. Let's start. What do you got?
Well, here we go. We will be getting some results, actually, we think this hour from Kentucky, from Indiana. All the polls not closed there, but some will this hour. But before that, let's take a look at what we can expect from tonight. So we'll fire up our Road to 270, our battleground map. Now, there are a couple ways to look at this. First of all, let's start with this. Are there any states tonight where President Trump is going to be on offense? What I mean by that is, are there any states that Donald Trump did not carry in 2016 that were Clinton states that he could pick off tonight and add to what he won in 2016? The Trump campaign has been talking about, remember these three tonight, New Hampshire, Minnesota, and Nevada. Clinton states in 2016, the Trump campaign has been saying they think they have a shot at. We got to say, coming into tonight, the polling we've seen before the election has not put President Trump in great position in those states. So the burden is on him tonight as these votes come in to show that he can make something happen that hasn't happened there in the polls. If he fails to pick off a New Hampshire, a Minnesota, or Nevada, then Biden's starting point tonight is where Hillary Clinton finished in 2016, 232 electoral votes. And then the question shifts, and it becomes, where is Joe Biden on offense? And the answer to that we already know. You are looking at the battleground here. You are looking at states that Donald Trump won in 2016, that he's trying to defend, and that the polls coming into today to varying degrees show him in trouble in. Can Donald Trump hang on to at least 270 electoral votes worth of these states? The most immediate problems on this map for Donald Trump, we've been saying this for a while: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, three states that he won by the skin of his teeth in 2016. Less than 1 point his margin in each one of these states. If Donald Trump does not add any states from the Hillary Clinton column in 2016, if he doesn't pick off any tonight and he loses these three states, he loses the election. And he's in particularly tough shape, according to the polls, in Wisconsin and Michigan. If he were to lose just those two, he would be on the cusp of defeat. Trump would. That sets up the drama that we're going to see in the first few hours tonight, because this is the interesting thing about the pandemic election. As important as Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania are to this election, it's going to take a while to get the results there because of the mail-in ballot situation. In Pennsylvania, if it's very close, it could even potentially take a couple days. What we think we are going to get a good look at, though, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight, just about all of Florida, except the Panhandle. We're going to start seeing a lot of votes out of Florida. We're going to get a really good look in the first couple hours in Florida about who is winning, who is losing there. Get North Carolina in the early hours. We should get a lot from Ohio, Georgia, potentially, even Texas a little bit later, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. We might get a good look at Texas. Every single one of these states, a big electoral college battleground, was won by Donald Trump in 2016 and really becomes, given what we just outlined here, the challenge he faces in the Great Lakes states, a must-win state for the president. If he does not pull off a Hail Mary pass and win Wisconsin, win Michigan, or flip any of those Hillary Clinton states, then he's got to go 5 for 5 in these states. He doesn't need one. He doesn't need some. He needs every single one of them. And then we get out west. You'd probably include Arizona in that category as well. So look at it this way. The president early on tonight in a bunch of big states is facing what may very well amount to elimination contests. He's got to win one after the other after the other. If he does pull them all off, if he runs the table in the Southeast, gets in Ohio, gets in Arizona, then the drama will shift to those Great Lakes states. Those two states there, Wisconsin and Michigan, where the polls have really put Trump in dire shape. And then to Pennsylvania, the one that even his campaign talks about as a must-win state. If Trump can sweep everything before that, that would then put Pennsylvania potentially in position to settle the election. But if Trump trips up, if he loses Florida, if he loses Georgia, Carolina, Ohio, Texas, any of these states, that effectively could be it for him.
Steve Kornacki, let me ask you, following on something that we discussed this weekend when we had sort of our first election night show. And you said, when I asked you about it on Sunday night, that if the president and his campaign had a sort of sleeper target, the one that they thought they could really potentially pull off from the Democrats, it might be Nevada. What's the equivalent for Joe Biden, leaving aside Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Michigan, leaving aside those three states that we've paid so much attention to, those other states on your map, where is Biden most confident, or where do the polls show him most likely to pick off an important Trump state?
Here's the interesting thing. If you want to compare, we talk about Nevada. The most recent poll we got out of Nevada put Joe Biden ahead by 6 points right there. And so when I said I think Trump, of those three, Nevada, Minnesota, New Hampshire, that Nevada was probably his best shot at getting a Clinton state, it's because 6 is the closest that he is in those 3 states. That's a different position than Joe Biden finds himself in basically every state we just talked about. If you look at Arizona, if you look at Texas, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, the only possible exception here where you see polls of Joe Biden trailing by that kind of a margin in any of these states would be Iowa, where there was one poll over the weekend, the Des Moines Register poll, that put Joe Biden down by 7 points in what previously had thought to be a bit of a toss-up state. So Biden's position in these battleground states is markedly different, at least in the polls coming into today, than Trump's is in the blue states that he's trying to pick off. That's why you don't see them in the battleground right now. And that's why I say the burden's on Trump tonight. We saw this 4 years ago. We saw states suddenly become competitive on election night that the polling running up to the election wasn't showing. The burden's on Trump to show us in New Hampshire, when you get a poll closed there relatively early tonight, to show us in Minnesota, to show us in Nevada that something's been happening there that the polling's not been picking up on, because those states look very different right now in the polling than all those other Trump-won battleground states.
Steve Kornacki, thank you, my friend. It goes without saying we will be checking in with you insistently and repeatedly and unexpectedly frequently.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.